I can't remember my early days of school from the age of 6 or 7, but the days probably just prior to war, where we were being warned already at school before our holidays started, that you're going now on your summer holidays, 1939, in August, and beware. Any of you belonging to the Scout movement, don't go around and showing your daggers that we used to have in our socks with the Polish Scouts. So there was a sort of warning, and we sort of didn't realize what was happening. But then they did tell us, the Hitler Youth, they'd be hunting us down. When the Germans were actually there with this battleship, we knew the movement of the sailors because they were marching through the town openly. And it was a thrilling sight to see nearly 400 or 500 sailors marching through. It's exciting because there was no war at the time, but they were sailors. They were military men. Until these military men, sort of even prior to the bombardment, there were these nights that they called Kristallnacht. Crystal nights. That means breaking of the windows of any Jewish shop. And really looking at it, I just can't understand what the hell they were doing. They were robbing those shops. I can't remember the name of the shops, but Freiheit or something. They were all Jewish. And then I used to go home and tell my dad that. And he said, well, keep away from the city center. He said, these German soldiers, they're walking round, and Poland has protested to the German government. They shouldn't be here unless there are Polish troops present who also march with them or in front of them. Just before the 1st September came along, we were all in bed. I didn't live far from the river itself. It was River Motława, River Motlau. And during the night, we heard these explosions. And prior to that, we knew that the German battleship, well, it's a big battleship, Schleswig-Holstein, he was parked just about between Newport and Gdańsk, Neufahrwasser and Danzig. And the first bombardment started from him, from that ship, onto the half island of Westerplatte, the place where I was born. It must have been in the middle of the night. The first bombardment started, and it sounded wicked. Bombs flying across the house. Around 4 or 5 o'clock, knocks came on the door, and they just took my dad away. And they were the Gestapo and the SS, mainly Gestapo. And they were beating him up quite badly, so I told my mum. I said, what's going on? I said, where are they taking Dad? They're probably going to interrogate him. When I went out and say, when is he coming back, my dad? Well, we don't know that. Depends how he behaves. But then we found out he was taken to a concentration camp in Statowa. And my mother, she had a bit of a heart attack or whatever, and they took her to hospital. But then, in the week to come, we just didn't know what was going on. They had invaded that half island, which was classed as Polish property. And they came to the house, and there were people that I even knew. And they sort of said, could you do us an inventory of your house? Well, I said, it's not our house. It belongs to the Polish Railway, PKP. And he said, yes, I know that. I don't want to know about the building itself. Could you give us an inventory of everything that you got? I said, what do you mean, such as what? Well, beds. How many beds have you got? I said, we are 3 of us in one bed. My brother, my sister, and me. Where does your mum and dad? Well, they're in the other bedroom. So you've got 2 beds. Have you got any wardrobes? What's in the wardrobes? Have you got a sewing machine? Oh, yes. I was quite proud. And we got new cutlery and stuff like that we bought. So I said, if you put it all down, we'll be fine. A week later they came back and they said, you got your list? Yes. I said, I got my list ready. So what we're going to do now, everything that's on the list, we got a couple of lorries outside, and we'll be loading yours and Mrs. Seifert, your neighbor, and Lewandowski upstairs, Piotrowski, because we got German people coming in now. It's not anymore Polish railway, it's the German railway. He said, we got relatives? I said, yeah, of course we got relatives. Well, you better go and see them today. Yeah, I said, but my mum, she's still away in the hospital and she's not feeling too good. So, well, he said, how old are you? I said, well, I'm 14. You're the eldest? So you're in charge. Take your brother and sister. Anyway, the only one that would take us is our grandma. And she took us in. And until my mum came out. And eventually we did get a couple of rooms, not far from where she lived. When I came out of the worker battalion, they more or less said straight away that at 17 you will be drafted into the forces, and we don't know yet what type. And I said, I don't know, what am I joining? Where am I going? He said, you'll be going with a detachment of some war boys, but you're going to become a sailor. Oh, I said, that's great. So I want to be a sailor. They sent us then to Groningen in Holland. We had our military training for about 3 months. I was a machine gunner, and they put us on a ship, like a tug. Then I was on an MTB, motor torpedo boat. And a lot of, about 20 of us. And we were just put to guard the Eiffel Tower. And I done the guard service for about a month. Then I done a month's service guarding on Place de la Concorde and the Arc de Triomphe. We had to be wary on the metro. You sort of had to go your back against the wall. I learned that. I wasn't going near the railway thing. Someone could push me over there. It was so awful. We didn't know really how to feel. You are a German soldier, a German sailor, and you know you didn't want to be. I wanted to be a sailor, but not a German one. But what can you do? Who's going to push me? The Eiffel Tower bit I liked, but they didn't even trust us to go right up to the top. The first one, the balcony is there when you see him. We were allowed as far as that, but up the top they had all the radios, all the signaling. We always seen the German signalers going up. But us, as far as we were concerned, we were just put there with a rifle, bayonet, sometimes bayonets fixed, and just stood there, like the guards today do.